Hello, my name is Monica. Thank you for opening this. I am a recently retired teacher, and there was something I discovered from having started in elementary school and then made a jump up into high school that, well, even when I was teaching in second grade, I found it very frustrating when it came to the writing class, trying to have my students retain the steps of the structure of an essay or a paper, as we say now, but we always use the word essay. And so I wanted to make a fix. So that's what this puzzle is that you see. It's a puzzle that mirrors the steps of writing, the writing process. And so it gives a support, a crutch. It helps the teacher to help the students visualize where they are. You have the green is your introduction. You have the blue pieces, which are your body paragraphs, and a red one is your conclusion. The frame around it is giving them the support vocabulary that they need, so they're not just saying the same thing 5 different ways without really giving any detail. All those words on the edges there, they're right there. They can be told you've got to use at least 4 of these, and they're there for them. They won't forget. They don't get stuck. If they get that, my students always would get stuck, and I was always just like targeting, running around the room trying to keep everyone moving forward. That's what the puzzle will do for you. So why do I know this? I started in second grade, and then I jumped up and taught high school. And I was just like so kind of crestfallen because things that I did have some of my second graders able to do, not the whole class, probably about 70% of them. I got to high school, and in certain classes, the students were still the students were still struggling with structuring, how to put an introduction, how to put a hook, or whatever term you want to use. The terms are not important. How to get their main ideas or big ideas in the introduction. And then the big challenge of all was how to move from each paragraph, giving it a new big main idea. And that's what this puzzle, I think, if for nothing else, the arrows that show the link between the introduction to each paragraph. Main idea 1, an arrow to the next puzzle piece. Main idea 2, and an arrow down to the second body paragraph. All these things will help them visualize and memorize the steps. So the retention, because of the colors and the shapes, it's like, look at the puzzle all put together, and you're kind of looking at the shape of an essay with the paragraphs one on top of the other, one below the other, I should say. The stuff in the left gives great vocabulary support. It gives them all these different linking words and transition words, like, for instance, in order to, for example, because, so that they are reminded constantly that they have to use it, because the blue piece is telling them use these words, and if they can't think of what those words are, which every time you say that, they're written right there, right next to it, and they're connected. Each paragraph kind of has the words that they might be needing to the side of it. It gives the students one-on-one support that is so hard for us to do with everyone when they're trying to write something individually, because everyone can be working at their own pace and where they are in the essay, and every puzzle piece tells them everything they have to think to have done. It shows them how, like, even when the puzzles connect is where the transition is, because it's kind of in the bottom piece and the above piece, and you have to write a transition sentence, and what else do you need? Did you give concrete details and things like that? So, and it's a one-on-one support. It's a crutch until they can remember to do this all on their own. And this is just for your basic essay writing. My goal with this was I wanted every student by 5th grade to know how to write a complete essay, basic essay, with a good introduction, body paragraphs, and a conclusion, which I was still teaching all the way through 12th grade for a good number of students, depending on what kind of a class it was I was teaching. So it's releasing the responsibility to them, because they can't move on. They have to do everything on that puzzle piece until they get to put the next piece. So there's this kind of reward system built in, and they can't move on until they flip the puzzle over. There's questions on the back. Yes, it's a 2-sided puzzle, and there's questions like for a blue piece, where it'll say, what is the main idea for this paragraph? What linking words did you use? So they're thinking, oh, wow, I didn't put any details in. I have to go back and add some of those type things. It's hands-on, obviously, which helps also for that retention. So they can remember to do this on their own. And it's not a computer, so you don't have to worry about, instability. Is it going to work today or it's not going to work? It's just a good old-fashioned jigsaw puzzle with bright colors. It's more engaging because it is something they're handling, putting together. I mean, just putting it together, reading what's on each puzzle. Great for a substitute. Have them work through the puzzle, reading it with the students. Give them a super easy prompt, like the kind every student can write on, and make them work through the puzzle. And you've got your lesson plans for the whole day, technically. It does, like I said, differentiate instruction. So the kids who are ready to move on are able to just keep going, and you can have them, when they're picking words off the frame and using them, have them go up and put them on the board so other students can see, oh, they use that word, they use this word, and they're getting the reward of putting it on the board, and they can move at their own speed. The new kid in the class, okay, you're already wanting to work on something more farther along. They can have their own puzzle, and they can just be working their way through it. Each piece of the puzzle is like a paragraph, so it's very clear that they know what they have to do. It makes it easier for lesson planning. If you didn't get a great lesson plan made, you can just pull out one puzzle piece, put it under the document camera, and you've got things to be working on in class to help that writing piece. And I know the writing, it's hard to get to that a lot of times. And then you end up with those essays and you're trying to correct them, and this makes that easier too, because you're not having to write things out. You can just say, I mean, when I used to try to say, oh, your second body paragraph, that didn't mean anything to them, blank looks, but your blue pieces, that's your body. You need to go back, take the main idea, blue piece, and it's quick, or just put blue or green or whatever, just so they immediately can go look and see what they don't have, because it's right there, written already out. You don't have to write it again. Different grades will be focusing on different things. If you've got the little first graders, second graders, you're probably only going to work with a blue piece for months. If you're a high school teacher, your students have heard this. You may not realize this, but they have been taught this like hundreds of times before they even got there. So they just need that reminder. They just need that visual of, oh, this piece, okay, yeah, that's right. This, because I know when I would say something, it would always be like, oh, yeah. It's just that not being able to retain that. But I think this putting it together with your hands is going to solve that problem. The puzzle comes in after the pre-writing. So they've done their pre-writing, and then it comes into the puzzle. And you do, especially for the younger students, the lesson plans would start off just making them understand how they use this puzzle to help them later. The puzzle follows Common Core standards, California Common Core standards, 1st through 5th grade for the informational essay opinion essays. Obviously, 5th grade is not high school, but this is the basics that a lot of high school students still haven't developed. It enables their essays to have concise focus, because they're following the steps right there. Clear development, proper vocabulary. It's telling them how to do their editing. The back of it is setting their goals for every part of it. As I said before, the green one, how did you start to pique your reader's interest? What are you writing about? What do you want to convey? That's on the back. If they can't answer the back of the puzzle piece, they cannot bring it to you yet, because that means they're not ready to show it to you. Finally, I'd just like to add a few more thoughts that this puzzle will bring to your community at the school. First of all, is homework club. How helpful it would be for those volunteers to have something to help them give a little structure on direction, where to go when they're teaching how to write a paper, and or of course their parents and grandparents. Also, this is good beyond the normal classroom. It could be used in summer school programs or remedial classes, special needs classes, because again, it's that differentiating instruction that works so well. It is also your state ELA test scores get a bigger bump from improved writing than they do even from reading. Not that you would ever neglect the reading, but there's not very many scores for writing, so when those improve, it gives their final ELA test score a bigger bump. And wouldn't it be lovely if the whole school could get on board? Then you could have some very, very set, serious, nice scaffolding, with, lower grades, pre-K, K, first grade, getting all the vocabulary and the yellow, and then moving up through first, second, third, fifth, all the way to fifth grade, from your blue to your green and to your red, and then, working all together. Thank you so much for listening. I hope to hear from you. You have my email, you have my phone number, and thank you. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.